What's up, everyone? This is Cheyenne B, and you are listening to 5D Marketing Secrets Radio. So here's the real mystery. How do real, spiritual-based business owners like us grow a large following of our soulmate clients who are begging to pay us for our skills and gifts? How do we increase sales and make a contribution while also making a killer income? That is the blaring question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Cheyenne Burnett, and welcome to 5D Marketing Secrets Radio. Hey you guys, welcome back to 5D Marketing Secrets Radio. In today's episode, we sat down with TaMara, one of the owners of Salt Lake's largest full-service pagan supply store, Crone's Hollow. So these guys are really unique. They offer ritual supplies, ritual wear, magical goods, education materials, and handmade items by local pagans and covens. So this is a little bit different direction than we usually go. Instead of sitting down with readers or astrologers or people actually practicing healing or different modalities in the spiritual space, these guys have actually come together and brought all of those people in one place and offer many of the tools necessary to make those healings happen. So what a cool way to tap into the spiritual business space. So TaMara's got some really good advice and some things she would do differently if she was to do it all again. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode and let us know what you think.
So what do we need? Where do we start?
Well, first of all, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a very bizarre day.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had a couple of those lately, I'm not gonna lie. Really, TaMara, I've followed you for some time. I've actually been, you I'm sure don't remember me, but I've been to your store a few times in the past few years just because I love it. And so my goal is to help spiritual entrepreneurs who are new and upcoming figure out how to find people that will be their ideal client or buy from them, or how to get their name out there. And so I ran across your Crone's Hollow business page, and obviously you have several thousand people on that page, and you've been in business for a few years. And so it seems like you're the lady to ask.
Oh, wonderful. Ask away.
Well, I know who you are because I've been in your store and I've seen your stuff, but because we have listeners all across the world, I would love to hear a little bit about your background. So where did this all start for you? How did you start in the spiritual business space, and what made you decide to, because you actually own a physical store, so what was it that made you decide to go that direction?
Oh, it's a very long story. I have been following a pagan path for 20-ish years. And the beginning of my path was as a solitary Wiccan. And I did that for about 10 years. Oh, so it's been more than 20 years. And then about 13 years ago, I joined a coven here in Salt Lake City, Earth Haven Coven, which is, as far as I understand, the oldest coven in Salt Lake. So the Earth Haven has been around for, probably 25 years. And in joining the coven, I met a wonderful woman by the name of Rita Morgan. And Rita is the witch mother of the Path of Ked and the high priestess of Earth Haven. And at that time, we had talked about, starting a store one day. We saw that there was a need in Salt Lake City for not just a place to buy things, because you can do that online or any variety of places, but a place that would act as a community center. We wanted a place for people to be able to come in and say, I'd like to be able to do a dark moon ritual here, or I would like to be able to do, our Beltane ritual here. And what we have noticed in the past is that when you rent places that are, not necessarily pagan oriented, there are a lot of rules you have to follow.
Right.
And then some of the rules are as simple as, please don't burn candles or incense or sage. And then some rules are more complex, like, no, you can't have a sky-clad ritual. And so we wanted to have a place, where we could, make it available and make it usable for the people that wanted to be here. And so we talked around that idea for a year or so. And the guardian of our coven was a man by the name of Roy Mormon, And Roy is Rita's brother.
Okay.
And Roy was killed in an automobile accident in March of 2010.
I did see that on your
Eh,
website.
Pardon?
Oh, I saw you have a page that talks about a room at the
Yeah, we
website.
do. And so the room that we've created at Crone's Hollow for people to use for their rituals and classes and things is Roy's room.
Oh, wow. Okay. What?
And so, Roy, we took our grief in Roy's passing and put it in a positive direction and opened Crone's Hollow about a year later.
Really?
So, yep, that was March of 2011. And we stayed in the same location for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or so, till about 2.5 years ago. And our landlord decided to sell the building.
Oh,
So we decided that we would buy our own building. And we did.
good for
And
you.
so, yeah, so we moved about 15 blocks away from our original location. And we've been here about 2.5 years now. And Rita, who is my business partner and the crone of Crone's Hollow, lives here on site.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's, how it got started. And here we are.
I love that. And so you've been in business since 2015, you said?
No, 2011.
2011, I'm sorry. Okay, perfect. So you've been around for a little while, and you're known as a pagan location for people in the Salt Lake
We are.
area. But you have, like I said, several thousand followers on your Facebook page, and so um, what a great story for you to have kind of moved into it almost just naturally and easily. How did the online portion get involved with the physical location? At what point did you decide to start building a following?
Well, we thought that it was necessary to have an online presence. We find that most of the people in the pagan community are pretty tech savvy.
Yeah.
And they connect through chat boards and, all different kinds, Yahoo groups or WhatsApp or whatever is out there.
Right.
And, Facebook was just a normal place to go. That was, so we do Facebook and Instagram and, a little tiny bit of Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't tweet much, but, we try to stay as active as we can on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm a giant Facebook whore. I'll put it out there for you. Everything that we do here, whether it's, we got new merchandise or it's so-and-so's birthday, or, we're going to be having such and such ritual, we put it all out so people have a place to go and plug in.
I love that. Well, because you've been in business so long, what challenges have you faced in this process? I know owning a business is not super simple, and especially a spiritual practice related one. So what kind of challenges have you faced owning this kind of business?
Well, I think the biggest challenges we faced from the beginning have been just trying to get your arms around running a small business. None of us, myself or Rita or anybody that's on our staff has ever owned or run a small business before. So there's a lot of pitfalls in there. Do you do your own payroll? Do you find an accountant? Do you do your own taxes? Do you do your own books?
Right.
And, do you clean your own toilets? And all of those things are processes that we needed to go through and find the right answers for. Some of the other pitfalls are that, no one ever tells you that business is cyclical. And, you expect to have, X number of dollars coming in sales each month, and it doesn't work that way. So you have to think ahead and be prepared.
I like that. What about marketing? Have you guys had any trouble with marketing, or has clients, based on what you just said, it seems like you've experienced the typical ups and downs, just like any business?
Yeah, we do. As far as marketing is concerned, when we very first started, we spent time doing print ads.
Okay.
We did, some of the local alternative kind of papers, like
Yeah.
the Catalyst and the City Weekly. And, we spent, an obscene amount of money trying to do ads that way, and it didn't pay for it. It didn't pay off.
Right.
People don't plug in that way. And so we decided to take our dollars and move it into, things that were online, that were digital.
Yeah.
And so we have stayed with using promotions on Facebook. And we have recently started exploring digital billboards in the Salt Lake Valley. And that seems like it's worked out pretty well.
Very cool. Very cool. So because you've had success building your online presence, for somebody who is just barely an up and coming spiritual practice owner and wants to get their name out there, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would tell them when you create your online presence, don't give everyone access to it. And by that, I don't mean the public. You want all of the public in the world to access it, but don't give all of your employees access to it. Make one or two or three trusted people, the people that are the core of that, and have them understand that your business has a personality, it has a presence, and it has a voice.
Mm,
And you all should always speak in the voice of your business when you're putting things out on Facebook. I've seen so many businesses that are, single proprietorships,
yeah,
and they get on and they put posts saying, I did this or I did that. And I doesn't mean anything to someone outside. It's always we.
right.
So, speak in a common voice and keep things professional and
Yeah,
keep things ethical.
I love that. That's great advice. Do you have any idea of some bad advice that somebody has heard in your area of expertise that you would tell them to shy away from?
I would, pagans in general are very outspoken.
Yeah.
They very, very much, a group of alpha personalities, and they all have opinions, and they're happy to share them, which in dialogue is a wonderful thing. You can learn. But in speaking through your business's voice, you don't want to be too opinionated.
Mm,
You honestly do want to stay away from, things political and things religious. No religious bashing.
right.
Uh, I have seen, other stores get on and do a lot of anti-Christian things.
Really?
And, it doesn't serve you to do that. Because even if someone is interested in coming into your store, if you do something that offends them, they won't.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I love that. Well, just for clarity for listeners, your store is based around pagan needs, um, but you have tarot readers and things that come into play. So how do you attract the people that you work with or that you bring in? Because you've got readers, and I think I've even seen astrologists come in, and I've seen you've got a great woman coming in that does soap making. So how do you?
Cheryl, she's wonderful.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. So how do you find your tribe? How do you find these people to partner with and create these relationships with?
A lot of the people just show up on our doorstep.
Yeah?
They say, you know what, Crone's Hollow is a great place and I want to be part of it. Can I do a class here?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or people will say, are you looking for readers? Well, yes. And the better the more readers that you have vetted carefully, then you get your name out there and people learn to trust you and they
Right.
learn to trust your readers and their reading styles. And then they will come in and they will bring friends. And really, word of mouth is one of the best things we can do.
Certainly. You said a word that triggered another question for me. You said that readers that are vetted well. What kind of
Mhm.
questions would you ask when you're vetting somebody to partner with like that?
Well, it's not just a matter of asking questions. If you want to be a reader at Crone's Hollow, it's important that um, come in and have a dialogue with us. But
Yeah.
it's not just done through an interview. You have to actually read for us. And not only do you have to read for us, you have to read for someone else while we are in the room observing. And what this tells us is whether or not the reader truly has the sight or whether they're simply cold reading the person in front of them. We don't need charlatans here.
Yeah.
So I want someone that can truly act as an oracle and be able to channel.
I love that. So you're more inclined to have them do kind of on the job training.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
that makes a lot of sense. That's wonderful. Well, is there anything else that if somebody was inquiring about Crone's Hollow, or if you were talking about your business, what is it that brings you the most joy or the most passion fillings when you're talking about what you do in the spiritual space?
When we very first sat down and talked about Crone's Hollow, we asked ourselves, why are we doing this? And our goal and our mission statement to this day is to provide a safe space for someone to be able to pursue a path of craft, whatever that path is. You can be a druid or Asatru or Wiccan or witchcraft, whatever it is. So, our complete mission and what gives me the most joy is to be able to see that light come on for someone, to say, I've been really interested in witchcraft for, X number of years, and I just didn't know where to go to ask questions. And they come in and they ask questions and they buy books and they get excited and they do their first public ritual. And the next thing you know, they've created their own oven or whatever it is, whatever helps them pursue and make themselves be the best they can be.
I love that. That's brilliant. And then the only other real question I had was just circling back to your following. You guys have been open so a few years, so you've built up that following. Is there anything that if I was to direct somebody to you for advice on building up a Facebook following specifically, that you would say this is what we did that created that 9,000 plus following?
Wow, be consistent.
Consistent. That's a good one.
Yeah, you can't just walk away from your Facebook page and not make it dynamic.
Yeah.
Do live Facebook feeds, have constant events put up, have a place that people can come and ask questions, use all of the different functionalities of Facebook. We have a wonderful man by the name of Josh Sampson that did a documentary called Enlightenment Spell. And Crone's Hollow is part of that. So you can find that on Facebook as well. But Josh did a little 1 minute, essentially a commercial for us.
Yeah.
And we plugged it in on Facebook.
Really?
So, keep it moving, keep it dynamic. It can't just be the written word. You have to have things that are animated to catch people's attention.
Great stuff, right? If you are in the Salt Lake area, you have got to go to Crone's Hollow in Salt Lake City. And if not, they don't do online sales yet, but you can check them out at croneshollow.com or facebook.com/the Crone's Hollow. And I do want to talk about this interview a little bit more for just a second. I know it was a shorter one, but it was really profound for one specific reason, and that's because TaMara talked about the power of your voice in your business and how your business actually has its own personality and its own soul. And that soul is you and your voice. And it really it triggered another experience of mine. So a few months ago, I was working with Pamela Erlin doing some of her marketing, and she has a bunch of different pages. If you're not familiar with her, she's amazing. She's a medium, and she offers a bunch of different energy healing and transformative readings. She's incredible. But she has so many followers, and she has so many things going on that she has a bunch of help, which is awesome. But we found that when I first started working with her, that she had her posting, she had her business partner posting, she had me, her marketer, posting, and then she had 4 or 5 other interns that also had their hands in posts and newsletters and things. And all of a sudden, it was really obvious that her message was being watered down, and it wasn't her authentic voice because so many other people's opinions were circulating and their voices were being fused into the message, and it got further and further away from Pamela's voice. And the further away it got from Pamela's voice, the more followers and clients that she actually lost. And so if you take nothing else away from this interview, you guys, remember, it's okay to have help. But the voice and personality of your business is why your soulmate clients picked you in the first place. So don't forget that. Thank you for tuning in to 5D Marketing Secrets Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. And if you'd like me to teach you 7 of the most powerful marketing strategies for spiritual business owners in 2019 free, then just go to 5dmarketingsecrets.com and simply download the full report. See you next time.